Hi guys, Melissa Jordan Photography here, and I just wanted to talk with you about solo traveling. Having done this myself, I had a lot of anxiety beforehand. Even getting on the plane should have been a Xanax moment for me. But I've talked to some other women too that have had some concerns. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that today with you and share some solutions and tips. So let's get started. So I think one huge concern that women have for solo traveling is, let's talk about safety. Okay, so some of the biggest fears around safety are criminals and getting mugged and that kind of thing. So if you are dressed confidently and that's how you hold yourself and carry yourself, then criminals tend to look for more vulnerable travelers. So I typically have a money bag or a travel bag that is flat and kind of goes under my clothes around my waist. And that's where I keep my money and my credit card and my ID. And then I have a crossbody that I keep my water bottle and sunscreen and that kind of thing in. I separate them so that if one gets stolen, it doesn't matter to me if the crossbody gets stolen because there's nothing of value in there. It's all on my body and safe. So that's one big tip that I have for you is to separate the two. Your valuables in a travel bag and the other stuff that you're carrying for convenience and maybe a crossbody or something that you can secure to your body. And if that is zipped and closed and criminals are looking at you and you kind of blend in and your bags aren't hanging open and you're not kind of gazing around like you really don't know what's going on, they're going to move on to another target. So some more ideas for safety that I have for you are, let's talk about when you arrive at your destination. You should try to arrive during the daytime so that you can see and it's easier to find your hotel and wherever you're staying. So that is one good thing, is to try to arrive during the day. I also use Google Maps a lot, and I know that sounds really basic and duh, but did you know that when you use Google Maps, you can do it on alternate transit systems and walking? You can have it show you, instead of driving somewhere, how to get there for walk, and sometimes it's a different path. One thing that I liked about using Google Maps, I used when we were in Italy, was it would show us okay, if you're going to use the subway system or whatnot, you will get on this one and it would give us the name of it, the stop, and you're going to be on it for 5 stops and then you're going to get off on this one. And we can count down and see how many stops according to Google and on the little signage that they had on the subway or whatever. It also will give you bus numbers if you're using the bus as a transit. So it's pretty accurate. I have found it to be pretty accurate. And one thing that I would suggest though is, when I learned this in Italy, is that it's very spotty Wi-Fi, and so I would totally take screenshots of, and sometimes it took a few to get from my point A to my point B, but I did do the screenshots so that if the Wi-Fi was spotty, I would not get caught somewhere. And who wants to get caught somewhere maybe not so safe or get lost because of spotty Wi-Fi? So that was one way to kind of get around that. Another thing to think about is, keeping a business card from the hotel you're staying at so that you have the address and the phone number of the place that you're staying. Because if you ever did get lost and you, say you got in a cab, right, because you're totally lost and you can't figure out how to get back to your hotel, and you say, I'm staying at a Marriott, the driver's going to be like, okay, which one? There's 10. And you're going to be like, duh, I don't know. I'm lost, But if you have that business card, it will really give you and save you issues on trying to get back to your hotel. In addition to that, if you are staying in an Airbnb or something like that, you can just write down the address and the phone number and carry that with you and in your money pouch where it's safe and not going to get stolen and something else. So another couple thoughts about safety is, one, stay in public places. don't go down the creepy alley, because creepy alleys call for creepy people, and that's probably what you'll get. So stay in nice public places. And the last thought I had is something I like to do is grab a local newspaper. It totally makes you look like a local, one. Two, you might even strike up conversation at a cafe with someone about, excuse me, something that's in the newspaper. And three, you can look at the newspaper, and if there are crazy things going on in the city, they'll totally be in there, and then you'll know, okay, hey, I want to stay away from that part of town or this over here, and it will be just an added layer in keeping you safe. So I really like the whole newspaper thing, and I do that quite often. So, okay, the next topic that I've heard about and experienced is unwanted attention from men. And girl, it's a real thing. It happens. A lot in other countries. It even happens here. So what do we do? What's a girl to do about that? So, just make sure you're dressed conservatively so that you don't get unwanted attention. But sometimes it will happen anyway. Carry yourself in a confident way, so that when you say no, it means no, and it will be interpreted that way. Sometimes that's still not enough. So I would encourage you, since you're already out in public places, that you can go into like a cafe or a restaurant or a library or museum, depending on where you are, and call for help if you need to. But most of the time, they are not going to follow you in there. So if you go in and hang out for a few minutes, that should take care of it. But you can always call the police if you have to. And, while you're waiting, you might have somebody from inside walk you out just to make sure that the unwanted men are gone. So that should take care of that problem. I haven't experienced this too much, but I know that it does happen, and it's a real thing. The next thing for solo travelers that I have heard of is women not wanting to eat alone and have a table for one. So my thoughts on this are, well, I kind of like it. I kind of got over that. I just feel like it's a time where I can take in the culture and look at the trends that are happening, how people are dressing, and do my people watching, and what are they eating and what are they drinking, and kind of be in my own thoughts and not have to entertain somebody else with conversation or pay attention. It's kind of, just what kind of feels good at that point. And so I'm kind of over that whole table for one thing. It doesn't bother me at all anymore, but I get it that for some people that is a thing. And so, I would just say to remember that it's not like you're in the movie Castaway where you've got to have this volleyball on the other side of you and, a face drawn on it to feel okay. Really just enjoy your environment and being in the moment. You're not a castaway. Okay, that kind of brings us to the next thing of loneliness, right? So there's a couple things to think about. If you're the type of person that you're worried about feeling lonely, where you stay can really benefit you. So you can choose to stay in a hostel or a B&B or like a bed and breakfast or like a small inn or something, because the thing with those types of places is they all have like a community room that you can go to and hang out, where there are other people coming down for breakfast or lunch, and there is opportunity to talk and hang out and learn about other people and where they're from and yada yada yada. So that's one tactic that you can think about. Another one is you can set times to call and Skype your family and friends back home, and do that. And so for me, I didn't find that I was lonely. I worried when I left town. I was thinking on the plane, I remember distinctly thinking, oh my God, how am I going to handle just being with just me and all of my thoughts for a whole week? I don't even know how I'm going to deal with that. But what I learned and experienced was it was really great to just be in my own thoughts and do things on my own time when I was ready and not have to wait for somebody else constantly, and think about other people and what their needs are and try to meet them and yada, all that. I just really found value in having that time for myself and taking care of me and doing what felt right for me at that moment. So I thought I was going to be really lonely. And let's face it, I talked to my husband and my kids and friends and stuff too on the phone. So I really thought I would be lonely, but I found that I wasn't. And I found it kind of to be refreshing. So anyway, okay, one more topic about solo traveling and the fear is getting stranded. Okay, I very much had this fear, like, okay, I'm a woman, what if I'm in the wrong side of town, or my car breaks down, or some emergency happens and I'm stuck, like, what am I going to do? I was really worried about that. So here's how I handled it. I allowed myself about 15 minutes before I left for my trip to sit down and write down my scenarios of what would I do if this happened? What is my plan for A, B, and C? And come up and think negative, right? Like, because that's what, thinking negatively about it. And then after 15 minutes, I felt so much better because I had all of my plan Bs made in my mind. So I didn't have to worry so much if this happened, because it probably won't. But hey, getting lost happens. I mean, I have gotten lost before. But anyway, if this happens, then this is what I will do. And I felt a lot of comfort in pre-thinking that, and then I didn't have to think about it for the rest of the trip, right? And worry about it. I really could just get it out of my mind. Okay, so I really want to move on to one of my favorite topics because, let's face it, I'm a photographer. And I love taking pictures. And when I'm on vacation or I'm traveling, I take a ton of pictures. And quite frankly, I think everybody should. But anyway, how do you take pictures as a solo traveler? So I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit before we're done here. So let's talk about that. As a solo traveler, how do you take pictures? First of all, I just want to say, before you go, you should kind of do some research and think about what kind of pictures do I want to take. Look on Pinterest and hashtag on Instagram. If you know you're going to the beach, like we're going to Hawaii in a little bit, and I know I'm going to be on the beach a lot. So I want to take some really cool beach pictures. So if I kind of have a plan in my mind about what I want them to look like and what kind of pictures I want to take, I have a better chance of recreating that and making it happen for myself. So go ahead and do some research first. Let me talk a little bit about, real quick, the selfie stick. Oh my God, don't fear the selfie stick. Just don't fear it. So I just have to share this really quick. I went to Europe, or to England, a few years ago, my husband and I, and before I went, I bought a selfie stick. And my kids ripped me up and down. Oh my God, Mom, I can't believe you bought a selfie stick. Only vain people take that many pictures of themselves. And it was, fast forward a few years, we went on a staycation, which I talked about not too long ago, and I'm sitting there at Horseshoe Bend with my selfie stick, taking some cool pictures of me with, Horseshoe Bend behind me and everything. And here comes my daughter. Mom, can I use your selfie stick? I just had to laugh because she gave me so many problems about it. But you know what? Here's the thing. Some people don't like it because they think, I look like a tourist. Well, get over yourself, because you are, and it's okay. And you're never going to see those people again. So get out the selfie stick and take lots of great pictures, because that's how you're going to remember your trip, right? That's what that's about. Okay. Also, about taking selfies, I do want to suggest that you think outside the box. There are so many ways that you can take pictures of selfie pictures without necessarily close up with your face in it and everything, but that can be cool. And when you go back to have those memories, like taking a picture with a reflection in a mirror, in a window, in a storefront window, or shadows, like if you're walking and the sun is behind you, you're going to have long shadows in front of you. So if you take a picture of those shadows, maybe your feet with the shadows, you're going to get the scenery also. That's a really cool of being in it as a selfie without it being like this close-up of your face, right? Or maybe just parts of your body, like your feet on a beach picture or something like that. So really think outside the box for your selfie pictures. Okay, the next thing about being a solo traveler and taking pictures is bringing a tripod. Okay, so you're going to have to really think about What kind of tripod do you want? It doesn't have to be like a traditional tall tripod. There are tripods that are little. I have one that's about maybe this tall, and the legs are bendable and the feet are adjustable, so I can have it on any uneven surface and still get a level, nice picture. They also have tripods where the legs are like plastic and they are formable, so like you can wrap it around a bar or something, like on a staircase or whatever. But tripods are important to have only in the sense that it will open up the options of pictures you take. You can take more wide range pictures. You can take more in-depth pictures where you get a whole lot more whatever, landscape or building or people or whatever, when you can get way back because you have a tripod. So really think about that. Also, you can do a DIY tripod. You can have like a stack of books or a table or a dresser or a tree branch if it's level enough or whatever. You can get creative on your own DIY kind of tripod. But it's important to not only have selfie pictures that are up close, but also like a wide range of photos that have depth in them too. So think about that kind of thing. Another tip is obviously you can ask for help. Like there's always going to be somebody around that can take these pictures of you, and you should ask. Just kind of make sure they're like a trustworthy looking person. You know, you don't want them to walk away with your phone or your camera, and honestly, I've never experienced that or heard that happening, but I'm sure it could. So just pick somebody trustworthy. And when we were in Italy, we did that all the time, and people are most likely always going to say yes when you ask them. Okay, a couple more things to think about when you're taking solo traveling pictures, like using rapid fire. Okay, so when you can put it on a tripod with a timer, you're going to choose the rapid fire setting. And this is great because you're going to like quadruple the chances of you getting a picture that you actually like, because you're going to get like little variances in each one if there's movement, and you're going to find one that has the right angle or the right lighting or whatever, and then you can always delete the rest. But you're going to really increase your chances of getting an amazing picture by doing a rapid fire. So I encourage you to look into the settings. There's also, the last one I wanted to talk about was like the timer, right? So you can set it up and go in your settings and set up so you have the timer, which allows you to like get farther away from the camera, right? Because you set the timer for like 10 seconds, and then you can, run out there and, do your thing and get a great picture because you have all this other wide variety of landscape with you on wherever you are taking this picture. And you're going to get lots of beautifulness. So learn how to use your self timer before you go on your trip. So anyway, okay guys, that wraps it up for me and my solo travel tips. So hopefully you liked this video, and if you could like, comment, and share it, that would be awesome. Talk to you later, guys.